What's up, everybody? My name is Trey Cadwell. Chelsea had asked me to do a video just speaking on a moment where God came through for me. Me being a believer my whole life, as long as I can remember, especially in my adult life, there has been a plethora of occasions where God has come through for me. But one moment in particular was just recently, actually, last year. The top of the year was really hard for me. Unexpectedly, I was laid off from my job, and it was really rough for me. I was denied unemployment. I couldn't get any extra help in that moment while I was looking for another job. And then at my apartment, I received a notice, telling me that I had to leave in 2 days. So I looked at the notice, and I called the property manager at the time, and was explaining to her like what was going on, and asked them if that amount was correct, and they said yeah. And lo and behold, they weren't incorrect, because I had all the proof showing that I owed a different amount, and they were not trying to hear what I had to say. So I was frustrated, and it was crazy. 2 months before I received that notice, I received the notice in about June, July-ish. And I want to say like a month and a half before that, I had some friends that were moving back in state, and they were looking for apartments. And I wasn't doing nothing, so I tagged along with them, and I went to an apartment, and it was really nice, and I was like, wow, this is a really good looking apartment. But I had no intentions of moving. I was comfortable where I was at, and so I didn't think nothing of it. So fast forward, I'm going through the situation, I'm frustrated. They tell me, Trey, we need you to leave, you gotta go. So I literally had to pack everything up in 2 days, and I'm at this point homeless but not homeless. I could have always went back to my pop's house, but that was not what I was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? I had been in the apartment for some years at that time, so I have all this furniture. I don't feel like paying for storage for a year and a half or however long it would take for me to move back out. So I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? At this time, I did get a new job, but it still was like I was catching up, from when I was laid off. And it was just difficult, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do next. God, what do you want me to do? And I was frustrated. I was in my feelings. I can be honest and say that I was angry, heated, irritated. And so I get everything moved. I get a storage unit, put everything in storage. And God brought to my remembrance the apartment that I went to see with my friends. And I was like, dang, I'm like, okay, let me call them and see what they're talking about. So I called them, and they like, yeah, we got some openings. Just fill out an application. So I filled out an application, and literally within, I want to say, I was in the hotel for about a week. Within the second day I was in the hotel, I don't even think I got to the hotel yet, but they called me back, was like, Trey, we got something that's ready right now for you. Do you want it? And I was just like, what? I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, they're like, yeah, it's ready to move in. You can move in whenever you want to. You've been approved, yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, as soon as the guy says this, like, God, I heard God's voice just tell me all things work together, and it was just like, it was a moment where it kind of convicted me a little bit, because I remember being so angry and so irritated. But God was like, I got better for you. You just gotta trust me, because the apartment that I was at the time was outdated. It was old. Maintenance wasn't always fast and timely. And I was like, man, I would love something with the aesthetics that the apartment that I was looking at had. It was modern, marble, it was crazy. And I was just like, God, like, this is amazing. Like, I had to repent, because it was just like I was so frustrated with the situation, not necessarily at him, but just the situation as a whole. Like, it was just very hard for me to deal with. And so I repented. You know, I told God, you know, I was sorry for my emotions and my reaction to that situation. And I just was like thanking him, because it was just like, it happened so fast. You know, the turnaround happened so fast. And what was crazy was that when I got to the leasing office, it was finishing paperwork, and I get a call from my old apartment, and the lady's on the phone, and she's like, Trey, we made a mistake. Like, you were indeed right. You were right. We stated that you owed X amount of dollars, and you really owe what you said you owed. And I'm just like, rather than me being upset, like, I was just like, you know what, it's cool. It is what it is. I'm gonna let bygones be bygones, because this is obviously God's doing, and he wants something better for me. I'm not even mad at you. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of just washed my hands with it. I forgave him. I was like, it is what it is, because it was a very messy situation. But, you know, I was just like, wow, God really came through. Like, I didn't know what to do. And they worked with me. They allowed me to they allowed me to stay the first month. I think the first month was free, I believe. And so it allowed me to catch up. And then I'm like, I get into the apartment, and 2 to 4 months after I get the apartment, I get a promotion at my job. And it was just like blessings on top of blessings on top of blessings. And all I could think about was Job. Like, after Job went through that hard season of losing everything, losing people, losing property, losing possession, God blessed him double for his trouble. And I was just like, man, like, this is crazy. Like, God really came through. And I'm just like, I was just in awe, you know. And I just kind of wanted to shine light on that moment, because I know that at times life can get so hard, and we start to give up because we don't see how what we're in is going to turn around for us, or how what we go through is going to benefit us in the long run. But God never told us to understand, you know. God just told us to trust him. And that's all we have to do in times where we are confused, times of being in the unknown. We don't have to figure it out. It's not our job to figure it out. You know, the one who writes our story has it all figured out, and his ways are not our ways, and his thoughts are not our thoughts. And we just got to trust that everything is truly working together for us, bad and good, because God is a person that can take bad and make a good thing come out of it. So I just want to encourage somebody today that if you're going through anything, if you feel like giving up, if you feel like everything is against you, just hold on, continue to pray, stay in his word, continue to trust him, and I promise you everything is going to turn around for you. He will get the glory out of everything that you're going through. So I'm praying for y'all, whoever's watching this. I pray that something was said that encouraged you in the season that you're in, and that you can remember going forward. So God bless.